Oh, welcome to Easter 2024, and it's the day that Rotherham United and my beloved team get relegated, I do believe. I quickly want to look at what we did. I never do this. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to have a look at the Friday predictions. All in all, I got one score completely correct, and that was it was actually my own team. It was actually Preston 3, Rotherham 0, which I got completely correct. I got one, two, three, four, five others almost correct, including I reckoned it was going to be a 3-2 Coventry win, and it was a 3-1 Coventry win. I thought it was going to be a Norwich win 3-1, and it was 2-1. I thought it was going to be a 2-0 QPR win, and Birmingham scored, and it was 2-1. I thought 2-2 for Southampton Borough, and it was 1-1. That's actually quite good. And finally, it was Blackburn nil, Ipswich 3, and it was 1-0, not 3-0. So actually, all in all, that was actually quite good. I only got one, two, three, four. Oh, that's six of them wrong. I've got half of them wrong. Okay, six of them wrong. I thought that was quite good. I thought that was really quite good, including the Watford Leeds. I got that wrong. I said it was going to be a 2-0 win to Leeds, but Watford obviously scored those two goals quite quickly to sort of put them out of it, try and nearly put them out of their misery. So I did get Leeds would score two. So we're going to have a go, and we're going to go quickly through today's games. If I just quickly pull them up. And we're going to be starting with the Leicester Norwich game, which is obviously in 25 minutes, which is exactly why I wanted to go through it, really. Because if you look at Leicester, what I said on Friday still goes. I still think that they're going to be finding it really tough, guys, to get out of this mentality that everything on the off field is not good. It always influences the play on field. Usually, it's done with teams in the bottom six, and they end up getting relegated. It doesn't usually happen to teams in the top, but this time it's happened to the team in the top. So I'm sort of worried that Leicester are going to just not be able to turn this around, and this blip will become rather more of a long-term issue. Their last three games were a 2-2 draw against, we'll keep the Chelsea one, a 2-2 draw against Hull, 4-2 defeat away at Chelsea, and then a 1-0 defeat away at Bristol City. Before that, they were doing okay. Realistically, it was just a case of the off-field antics just giving them a kick. And to be honest, Vardy played against Bristol like a League Two striker. I was absolutely astonished why he didn't score about 3 in the first half. It just didn't make sense. And I've listened to a couple of the videos from Sky Sports, and there was at least one saying the same thing. They can't see them picking up that momentum that they had at the beginning of the season. And this could be an issue. Do they get back into the top two? Possibly not. And they're playing a Norwich side which seems to have just clicked. And probably at the right point as well. Let's face it, if they hadn't have clicked in the last sort of 6 games, they would. I'm quite confident they would have been a sort of mid-table dirge. Could they do a Luton? Quite likely. They are at the minute 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goals scored in the last 3 games. I'm going to go for a Norwich win on that one. So we're going Norwich win. As my daughter comes in. So I go for a Norwich win. What shall we go? Norwich. I'm going to go boring 2-1 to Norwich. Birmingham versus Preston. A Birmingham side that can't win for love nor money against a Preston side that only lost one in their last 6. They're on and off as far as scoring. Then they do tend to score anywhere between 1 and 3. They really do. There's no consistency there. The Preston side is quite a decent, skilled side. Birmingham is as well. They just seem to have lost their mojo in the last for 10, 11 games. And I've been saying for ages they're going to turn it around at some point, but they've just failed to do it at home against a Preston side that's been top of the league at one point. I really can't see them getting anything out of this, guys. I'm going to have to go for a Preston win, and unfortunately, that's going to put pressure on the Birmingham squad. But I'm going to have to go Birmingham 0, Preston 2. Coventry versus Cardiff, and Cardiff really did surprise me on Friday. I thought they'd really try and fight for that last place in the playoffs, and they seem to just not attempt to even play decent football, which is not their style. Admittedly, it was against Sunderland, but Sunderland have been playing really badly. Against a Coventry side that seemed to be free scoring, 2s, 3s, 5 against Rotherham. You have to think that they're going to be scoring 2 or 3. For that reason, I think that will Cardiff score? Coventry can let 1 or 2 goals in now and again. I'm going to go for a Coventry 3, Cardiff 1. Borough, Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday are on a roll, even though they did lose 6-0 against Ipswich and draw 1-1 against Swansea on Friday. I think they are they've been a different side since they changed manager. Will they get out of the bottom 3? I think they might do. I've got a feeling they might do. And they're playing a Borough side which seems to be losing. Well, they drew against Blackburn, which we wouldn't expect. You'd expect them to win that. They drew against Southampton, which is probably. I actually did say that they draw on Friday, and they did. It's a difficult one because I can see Borough starting to drop into that mid-table. I'm at the beach. Forget it. We're not going to be pushing. We're not going to be pushing for the playoffs, and they're certainly not going to be going down. I'm going to go for a boring 1-1. Some dinner in there. Plymouth versus Bristol City. Let's have a Plymouth. They have had a torrid time in the last 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Can they pull it back? They are at home. They used to be really good at home. They used to be scoring 3 regularly at home. Can they do it against a Bristol City side that are up and down? Bristol City have their tails up. They won 1-0 at home to Leicester City. I think that they're just going to be too much for Plymouth, and I think people at the top of the league have started to realise how to beat Plymouth. and everybody's doing the same thing. I'm going to go for a boring 1-0 win to Bristol City. Rotherham at home to Millwall. Now, can Rotherham win their first game in God knows how many games against a side that is pretty much average? And let's face it, they really are on the beach. They would have to lose every game till the end of the season to be pulled into that relegation slot. Cannot see it. I still think that they are as good as on the beach as you probably can get. I'm going to go with a draw, and it's only because Millwall don't have anything to play for. Rotherham don't either, and yeah, it could be a 0-0 draw, purely because neither team have anything to play for. Rotherham will go down this season, this year, possibly because of the next game, and I think that's really going to play on the minds of the teams there. We've got Stoke versus Huddersfield. Now, Stoke versus Huddersfield is really important because Stoke are on like I said, they're on the beach, same points as Millwall. Huddersfield could easily get out of the bottom three. In fact, they could easily get out of the bottom three with a win today against a Stoke side that's not been playing very well. And I mean, they away at Rotherham, they could Stoke City. I'm looking at Huddersfield there. Stoke City, up and down. I mean, the 2-0 win at Hull was a shock. I really didn't think they'd get that. And then they've won 2-1 away at Preston. So they do. I'm looking at that Borough 2-0 win. But they're playing badly. They seem to be getting wins without actually playing well, and that's what is quite interesting. You know, they're down there. If they'd have actually got poor results as well as playing badly, then they'd be in the bottom three. But they're playing Huddersfield, who can grind out results. I mean, said that at Rotherham, they only drew 0-0. But they can really turn on the style as they did against Sheffield Wednesday. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Stoke win. Huddersfield seem to have just staggered a little bit, but you could see a Huddersfield draw there, and that would put Rotherham down. Sunderland Blackburn. To me, this has got draw written all over it. I think Blackburn are just trundling along now. I don't think that there is a chance that they could get into trouble and be in the relegation fight, but one of the teams below them's got to start winning points, which a couple of them are. So there is a danger there that they go to Sunderland and they think, oh, we've got to win, that the pressure is on us. Will that pressure buckle them? Can they play under pressure? I think only their fans know that one. They're playing a Sunderland side which was doing absolutely dreadful until the last two games, where they've drawn 0-0 against QPR and won 2-0 away at Cardiff. Was that a blip? Was it a blip? We're going to make a decision, Carla. We're going to go with a Blackburn win. We're going to go with Blackburn win. Narrow 1-0 Blackburn. Swansea QPR. QPR have been playing for draws, basically, I think, just to try and get out of it. And it will work if they carry on doing, mainly draws with a couple of wins in there. They're playing a Swansea side which had been playing really, really well, but then a couple of draws and a defeat snuck in there, and these two sides are playing quite similar as far as style and confidence, and I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's a 1-1 draw. They just seem to be playing very similar confidence levels. So that's probably, I mean, you look at the table, you'd expect, it's quite likely to be a draw. West Brom versus Watford. We have West Brom versus Watford. West Brom have staggered me. They've been playing really well. They seem to be able to do anything except for lose. They're doing really, 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 really quite well. They can manage to get at least a draw recently against a Watford side which play. I don't like. I always think that they're a very boring side to watch, but they grind out results, and that's why they went into the Premiership at that time. Boring as hell, but and they had a really boring game where Blue Monday did a podcast on Derby versus Watford, and it was Watford versus Derby, and absolutely mind-numbingly boring. No, zero shots on goal either way all game, and it was awful. Everybody was just. Is there anything we can discuss on this channel while we're trying to listen to this game that's garbage? And I don't see any difference in them. They're just boring, but they do grind out the results. But I mean, out of the last 6 games, the last win was 2 games ago against Birmingham, who can't win. I'm going to go with an Albion win. I have to go with an Albion win, and I'm going to say 2-0. Tonight's game, Ipswich versus Southampton. Ipswich, they were found out a little. If you high press against Ipswich, they do falter. They really do. But the key is, do Southampton really high press? And Southampton don't high press as such. They play a Premier League type football where you give people space, you take space, and you just play your way up the field, either along the wings or down the middle. They tend to build from the back, which is roughly what Ipswich will do, but further up the pitch. Having said that, I think Ipswich will be able to take home advantage here, and I think 2-0 win to Ipswich, because I think Southampton are just. They would have hoped that they'd have won against Borough, because that would have meant that we've won 3 in a row and we can kick off from there. But the 3 defeats before that, I think, just gave them a bit of a kick, even though one was against Liverpool. And finally, Leeds versus Hull. Interesting game, because obviously you've got Leeds at the top wanting desperately to shake off the fact they only got a draw last time out, and they really needed a win against a Hull side that need to win to keep up that pressure on the bottom, on the bottom of the playoff zone. But the more I look at it, I mean, I'm sure everybody's knowing what I'm thinking when I look at the past 6 games. Is it a defeat last time out? 1, 2, 3, 4 draws in a row, and then a win against Southampton. For Hull City. For Leeds, that strange draw against Watford 3 wins, a draw against Huddersfield. And of course, you got the 3-2 defeat against Chelsea. I think Leeds have slightly lost their mojo. They're not playing. I don't think they've played really well for quite a while. I don't think they really played well against Sheffield Wednesday when they won 2-0 at Hillsborough. And for that reason, I think Leeds will win, but I think it will be narrower than what we think. I think it's going to be a 2-0 or a 2-1. Which way am I going to go? I'm going to go 2-1 win to Leeds United. So that's my guess from today. Hopefully, I'll get the same sort of results as I did last week on Friday. We're gonna have a quick break, and I'm going to see if I want to do a quick live from the game that starts in 6 minutes time. But I may see you then, and I shall make sure I've got my clocks all forward, and I shall see you then. Thank you for anybody watching.